Hey there. Ever feel like you were just kind of thrown into a project, told like, okay, go make this happen, but you're not even sure where to even start?
Yeah, I've seen that happen a lot. Actually, a lot of functional managers. They're the experts in, marketing, engineering, all that. But project management, that's a whole other thing.
Right. It's like being an amazing chef, and then suddenly someone asks you to build a restaurant, like from scratch.
Right.
Luckily, that's where this book we're looking at today comes in Project Management for Non-Project Managers
Right.
by Jack Ferraro.
It really is a good resource for that. And what I thought was really interesting is how Ferraro really emphasizes that in today's world, everything relies on projects to drive change. But when those functional managers don't have any project management skills, that can lead to some real problems.
Oh, for sure. I've seen that happen firsthand. Like deadlines get missed, budgets go way over, everyone's running around like crazy. It's not a good recipe for success.
Not at all. And Ferraro really gets into why that happens. It often comes down to things like not being clear about what you want to achieve, not communicating well, or just not understanding how all the pieces fit together.
That makes total sense. And this is where I think something like Kanbanchi could really help. Imagine you're leading a product launch. Everyone on the team can see the whole project plan laid out visually, like all the tasks, deadlines, who's doing what. No more missing emails or anything like that.
I know. Visualizing that workflow, especially with a big project that has a lot of moving parts, it's so powerful. You can see problems before they happen, keep everyone on the same page, and avoid those last-minute scrambles.
And Ferraro really emphasizes how important it is to understand those dependencies, like knowing what needs to happen before you can even start on something else. It's all connected.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He lays out 4 key skills that any functional manager needs to really get good at project management. Understanding those dependencies is one, but there's more.
I'm all ears.
Mm.
What are the other 3?
Well, first, you need to be super clear on the why of the project. Like, what are you really trying to fix? What do you want to achieve? It sounds simple, but I've seen so many projects go off track because this wasn't clear from the start.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like building a house without a blueprint. You might end up with something, but it's probably not what you wanted.
Exactly. The second skill is all about focusing on those deliverables. Like, what are the actual things you need to produce to make the project a success? Getting specific about what done looks like.
So it's all about being clear and communicating well.
Right, you got it. And that leads into the last skill, being proactive about managing risks. Like, what could go wrong? And how can you prevent those things from becoming huge problems?
So it's not just about doing things the right way, but also thinking ahead about what might go wrong and having a plan, just in case. That's a good skill for everyone, not just people working on projects.
Absolutely. It's all about moving from reacting to problems to actually preventing them. That's where understanding project management can really make a difference.
Okay, so we've got these 4 skills. But how does this actually work in the real world? Ferraro talks about this provider-customer thing in projects. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little confused at first.
Yeah, it is a different way to think about it, right? We usually think of the customer as someone outside the organization. But Ferraro's talking about something else. He's saying that the customer is the functional manager, the one who's ultimately responsible for the project.
So basically, the project manager is like a guide. They help the functional manager navigate all this project management stuff, which can be new territory for them.
Exactly. And like any good partnership, it takes clear communication. You got to be on the same page. And of course, respect each other. When functional managers get even just a basic understanding of project management, they can talk about their needs better, understand where the project manager is coming from, and work together more smoothly.
So they're finally speaking the same language, which I bet saves a lot of headaches later on.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where those 4 skills we talked about come in handy. Let's say you have a functional manager who can clearly explain what the project needs to achieve and why it's important. The project manager can then make a much better plan.
And if that same manager understands things like dependencies and risks, they can point those out to the project manager early on. So a little hiccup doesn't turn into a big disaster.
Think about a marketing manager who's launching a new product. They know everything about their target audience. They understand marketing, but maybe they're not so familiar with project timelines and all that.
That's where a good project manager comes in. They provide guidance on all those details, making sure the campaign stays on track.
Yeah.
And the marketing manager can make smart decisions based on solid information. It's really a team effort.
Exactly. And that collaborative spirit needs to go beyond just the project manager and the functional manager. It's about building a culture of project awareness throughout the whole organization.
So getting everyone on board from the top down Everyone understands how projects drive change and how their work contributes to the bigger picture.
Exactly. That shared understanding leads to more accountability, smoother communication, and ultimately more successful projects across the board.
You know, Ferraro makes a really good point about projects being like experiments. They're a chance to try new things,
Hmm.
learn from the process, and adapt along the way.
That's a great way to put it. It's all about having a growth mindset, individually and as an organization. Being willing to step outside your comfort zone, learn new skills, and challenge how you've always done things.
It reminds me of something I read recently about how companies that focus on learning and development, they tend to be more innovative and adaptable.
I think that makes a lot of sense. When people can grow and develop their skills, they bring new ideas to the table. And that collective knowledge benefits everyone.
So it's not just about making projects run smoother, but also about creating an environment where everyone feels like they can contribute their best and embrace those challenges and opportunities that projects bring.
And when you create that kind of environment, that's when amazing things can happen. Ferraro also talks about how important it is to celebrate successes along the way. Not just the big wins, but even the small milestones, recognizing everyone's hard work.
It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and forget to acknowledge those wins. But celebrating achievements creates a sense of accomplishment and motivates everyone to keep pushing forward.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. A simple thank you, a shout out in a meeting, or even just a genuine good job can go a long way. It's about creating that positive feedback that reinforces good habits and encourages growth.
And that positive energy can spread, creating a culture of appreciation throughout the organization. What I found really insightful was Ferraro's focus on the human side of project management.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that projects are all about people, their skills, their motivation, and how they work together. All of that plays a huge role in whether a project succeeds. It's not just about the technical stuff.
So it's about those soft skills too. Communication, collaboration, empathy, problem solving. These are the skills that help us work together, especially when things get tough.
And those soft skills are becoming even more important in today's world. Everything's changing so fast. We need to be able to adapt and be resilient.
Ferraro sums it up perfectly. He says project management is not just a set of tools and techniques. It's a way of thinking, a mindset that embraces change, collaboration, and continuous improvement.
And that mindset can be applied to so many areas of our lives, not just at work, but personally too. Whether you're leading a team, launching a product, or just tackling a tough task, those project management skills can help you achieve your goals and make a real impact.
Yeah, it really is about seeing it as a life skill.
Right. It is. And it's cool how Ferraro, he goes deep into all these project management methodologies, but he always comes back to the human side of it.
Yeah, he talks a lot about building those relationships within the project team.
Yeah, exactly. He says building trust, open communication, a shared sense of purpose. All that is super important for dealing with the challenges that come up in any project.
It makes you think about project management differently. It's not just about charts and deadlines. It's about the people, understanding their strengths and weaknesses, and creating an environment where they feel valued and empowered.
And when you have that kind of environment, that's when a team can really shine,
And Ferraro also talks about emotional intelligence, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, that's something people don't always think about. He says project managers need to be self-aware, empathetic, good at managing their own emotions, and the emotions of their team members.
Because let's face it, projects can be stressful, especially when things go wrong. Being able to stay calm, motivate people, deal with conflict.
Correct.
All that is super important for keeping things on track.
He even gives examples of how emotional intelligence works in real-life projects. Like, let's say someone on the team is feeling overwhelmed or frustrated. The project manager needs to recognize that and maybe offer support or adjust their workload. It can make a big difference for the whole team.
It's about creating that safe space where people feel like they can speak up, share their concerns, ask for help if they need it.
Exactly. And that feeling of safety is so important for innovation and creativity. When people feel safe to take risks, try new things, they're more likely to come up with those breakthrough ideas.
You know, this whole conversation has really shown me that project management, it's so much more than just checking things off a list. It's about collaboration, learning, and even having some fun along the way.
I totally agree. That's what makes Ferraro's book so great. He breaks down these complex ideas, but he also uses humor and stories from his own experience. It makes it relatable and enjoyable to read.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into project management for non-project managers, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from all this?
I think the biggest thing is that anyone can learn project management. even if you've never had any formal training. It's about having that growth mindset, focusing on those key skills we talked about, and most importantly, remembering that it's all about people at the end of the day.
I love that. And for everyone listening, remember that becoming a better project manager, it's a journey. It's about always learning, trying new things, and learning from your mistakes as much as your successes.
Until next time, happy collaborating.